All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally back once again. Episode 12 hitting you with cards subject to change.
The Dirty Dozen.
And we are joined as always by the man of 1,000 names, the God King, Danny Maff. Of course, the All-Father, Darius Carter, fresh off his WrestleMania weekend appearance for Ase Wrestling.
Thank you.
And of course, I am Shawn Donavan, and here we are, episode 12, but our guest, again, so nice, we had to bring him back twice. Little Jefferson's Bourbon. Jefferson's, if you're listening, we love the sponsorship.
Do a little something for us,
and
do a little something for you.
Joined by little Roots of Fight Macho Man Randy Savage today for the wrestling shirt of the day. So, since I know before we started rolling, we were talking about sort of business etiquette things, but I know one real topic we haven't really spoken about is the behind the scenes part of the business in terms of just how things are supposed to go, right? I know we're all not necessarily running our own promotions, but we've all been doing this long enough that we know how a good show should be run. We know how a bad show shouldn't be run. But we also know the ins and outs of what comes along with that type of stuff too, because we've all seen it. And, you know, I figured that's a topic that we haven't really touched base on, that maybe promoters and wrestlers out there who are young or even experienced may not generally know how to handle some of these situations or tackle some of these things that go on. And I guess the first thing I would probably start off with, because we've seen it happen, right? And it happens not just here on the East Coast, it happens everywhere. The shady promoters that want the entire pizza to themselves. They don't want to share. So for example, you know, you're a promoter and you're pounding the pavement, not just on social media, you're literally pounding the pavement and you're hanging up flyers, you're advertising your shows. Well, here comes some clown running an indie company, doesn't like you, and they want it for themselves. They're going to tear down your poster and put their poster up. And then usually when they put their poster up, the poster looks worse than yours.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when we talk about poster etiquette, I mean, you know, and this goes for independent wrestlers taking promo photos. Like, if you don't look like a pro wrestler, how do you expect people to want to be able to come see you wrestle when you're on a poster wearing a t-shirt or a hoodie and sunglasses?
They don't know what type of show they're coming.
Or you're wearing the Under Armour, you know, sleeveless t-shirt and you have arms as big as my finger. I mean, I'm not being mean when I say this, but you all right over there?
I'm just wondering, how come nobody's fucking drinking it?
Oh, we're getting the topic started.
He was stirring up. He was
This man was looking at the stage.
Oh,
Fuck is that?
He was looking into
What happened? Wait a minute.
shadow.
Disclaimer.
Hold on a second.
One of the glasses broke,
Time out,
so I have no choice but to call an audible here. I'm working on the fly. Can't blame me.
My brother came to the table with a Christmas glove.
You know what? He took the sacrifice.
Don't hate the player. Hate Shop Studios for not updating the decorum for the season that we're in.
Listen, Chop Studios treats us very good, okay? Hush your mouth, all right? I'm the champion at Fight Factory.
We're looking for an improvement. I have a writer. Can I start having those things honored? Can I start having? I get my
biceps, man. Look at the triceps. I don't see like a horseshoe for me there. So I don't see a curvation. Word of the day.
You know, still my thing.
Looking stunning as usual.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Appreciate
You're a
it,
classy,
man.
brother.
Hey, you listen, you guys, we're the studs, man. The studs. Studs.
Yeah.
I just love that we were saying. And I just love
Anyway,
right.
but
Live backstage etiquette.
So we talk about like show posts, little things like that, right? Not having the proper promo shots taken. But then if you're a performer and you're on one of those show posters that looks like it's been built using Windows 98.
Yeah, that's wild. And they're still coming
where
out.
it's cut off and there's no fader. That's got to tell you, should you be working for a promotion that can't even put the time and effort into an event poster to make it look attractive? And we talk about like how to run shows the right way, how to not run shows. I mean, like I said, the three of us have been a part of stuff like that. If you put yourself in a promoter's cap for a second here, like, what are some of the things that you notice that are just not right on independent shows from promoters running events?
I mean, it's having a very clear layout of what you want to have done. I mean, it's very simple. What do you need out of the show? What are the results? And how are you going to get there? How are you going to get them? And I think sometimes things aren't made clear. It's just kind of like, sometimes you're letting the inmates run the asylum. Sometimes, sometimes you're letting things just get changed that you can't allow. You have to understand what happens in the show is affecting you. Okay, whether it's your match or not, it's all affecting you because you're part of the greater show. And people should be a little more cognizant of that and less selfish in thinking, oh, just your spot. You're contributing to a greater whole. So if your spot is okay, but the rest of the show doesn't make, sense and there's not a streamlined thing, where did you really end up? You want to contribute to a show that has a direction, that has all right, what am I doing at the next thing? What's the purpose of this segment? What's the purpose of interacting with you, interacting with this other person, and where is it all going, right? A lot of times people aren't asking questions. People aren't being told. People are just showing up and, no, I don't know what I'm doing here, but, let me take the envelope. And it's like, that's going to show in your work. That's going to show in the angle you're trying to push. If you don't want to be there, then don't be there. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know what you're doing there and you care, then ask someone and find out, because I'll tell you right now, if I don't know what's going on, I want to know I'm talking to somebody because my art is contributing to this message. I'm painting here to create art. And if I don't know where I'm dipping my paint into, what colors I have to use, what canvas I have to work with, how much time I have to work with it in, I can't give you the best of what I want to give you. So a lot of times promoters are afraid to run their locker room. Then they try to make a wrestler the head of the locker room or something like that. And it's like, well, who made this person the head of the locker room? It's too many questions. If it's your show, it needs to be your show, not your friend's show, not your cousin's show, not your father's show. If it's your show, it is your show. Mm-hmm. Period. Have pride in that. Don't just say it's your show and be the guy that's shaking everyone's hand, but when it comes time to ask questions or to get paid, suddenly you're not so easy to find. That's not what we're here to do. It's a business. What does a business mean? Things are connected. The wrestler's connected to the promoter, is connected to the booker, is connected to this, to that, to the cameraman, to this. We're all contributing for the greater good. Mm-hmm. And when one part slacks off, it's not someone else's job to take that. The photographer isn't going to do what the wrestler's supposed to do. The wrestler has to hold their end up. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the problem is people not taking the responsibility. Promoter's got to promote. Okay? Promoter has to promote the show. You have to. Social media is not just it. So flyers. I know it's a crazy concept, but you got to have a flyer out there, right? The wrestler's job is, of course, to promote themselves. They're to promote themselves, to promote the show, their brand. But the wrestler has to perform it in the ring, has to perform it outside of the ring, has to fill in what the promoter is asking of them. And then the question is the promoter actually asking anything of that wrestler other than let's just have a great match?
Mm-hmm. I agree. Michelle, Martin?
Well, it's a pretty deep rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is.
Okay. We could have gone in there. I was like, let me start with the surface.
You get a couple episodes out of this.
we may have to label this 1A.
Right. This is going to be a two-parter. Part one.
I will say this. I've seen so many promoters. I've worked for so many different companies. And I've worked for so many promoters. I've been lucky enough to sit under a few learning trees. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was... where promoters would ripping down flyers was a thing, until there was a mutual respect in between CZW, Jersey All Pro, JCW, USA Pro, and Jack Savage, UCW.
UCW.
You know,
ICW.
ICW. There was a mutual respect between those promoters, and then there's Kettner, which Kettner was out in Delaware, and he didn't bother anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But
Jim Kettner.
you know, it
Respect
was
and love. A toast. A toast to Jim Kettner.
Jim Kettner, man.
What a great. Oh man, what a pleasure.
Of the greatest promoters in the history of independent wrestling on the East Coast. Jim Kettner, one of the forefathers of great promoters, legendary, iconic figure. You know, he created the Super 8. And there was some incredible Super 8s. This gentleman to my right has won 2 times. Am I correct?
Yes. He's a two-timer.
Two times.
And
we love it.
Legendary promoter. But
He's a great and a really good man too. I mean, just talking to him.
there's
That's a promoter.
a lot of
That's a
promoters that like to play games and run a town maybe before a bigger promotion who's really busting their ass, putting in the work, and trying to, do the right thing. Here comes a promoter and tries to run a town before that show, or
Like a quick jab.
or there's also promoters that run their machine well, and you could tell what shows are run well, what shows are promoted well, and what shows have a legit promoter, because the workers are on their best behavior. You don't see any bullshit. You don't see any long matches. You see a structure.
Right.
Okay, you don't see 30 or 40 people at a different time during the show running in and out of the entrance curtain while the match is going on. And you've been there when I said it.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
have said respect the curtain.
Yeah.
Nobody should be walking through that curtain unless it's the promoter himself and the wrestler when his music plays and it's his time to go to the ring. Nobody should be walking through those curtains at all. Respect your curtain. Okay. And there's a lot of bullshit that happens on these independent shows that doesn't happen on every show. And you can tell because there's a legit promoter that has control of his locker room, that has the respect of the locker room, and sometimes a little bit of fear. We'll say, "Oh, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing that." But there is a
hierarchy.
Yeah, there is a hierarchy.
If you can say it, it's a
man,
profession. It's a.
Then you have some promoters that, they're just not very respected and not very respected by the young people that they're booking.
You can't go to them. You can't ask them things.
And those are the shows that have a 20-minute opener, and then followed by another 20-minute match, followed by another 10-minute match.
You heard about that match? They said it was 20 minutes over. It was like a tag gauntlet. I'm not gonna say the promotion.
I
Okay.
don't know, but
They
I've
said
seen
20. They said 20 minutes over.
and it's ridiculous.
20.
Those are the shows where you could tell, okay, where is there a legit promoter, and who is a not so legit promoter. There's also listen, there's a couple of companies on the East Coast that we're pretty blessed to be a part of, that you go and there's actually a catering.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have a couple of cases of water on the floor, or on ice,
or something.
Or some drinks with sugar on them, because guys get dehydrated and they're sitting there all day. A lot of the guys haven't eaten. A lot of guys are on the road. Listen, I know I always like to stop. I like to bring my own stuff. But it is greatly appreciated, and it's very refreshing when I walk into a locker room and I see that there's water. I see that there's, I don't know, those little Slurpee things, those silver things with sugar in it, you know. Right. Or a couple of Gatorades, or a couple of Powerades, you know. Or if there's, you know, a table with a few sandwiches on it or a few pizzas on it. I'm very thankful for that because you don't see that everywhere you go to.
It's very rare you see it.
Yeah, and we're performing for you. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like we're putting our bodies on the line. And again, it's not something you have to do. It's not something we're asking for. You know, things like water is kind of a common sense thing, right? If you can get a 24 case for a couple bucks. You know what I mean? Like that's just But in terms of catering and food, well, it's like, listen, if you are presenting yourself like you're a bigger show, if you're one of these TV tapings, as you like to say, or if you're on a larger platform and you want to present yourself a certain way, you know, that's a good idea to take care of your guys. And again, that's establishing an order in the locker room. That's establishing that, hey, this is what to expect. Expectations, setting positive expectations.
But at the same time, the promoter has to be ready, willing, and able to take control of his locker room.
110%. Okay. Hey, what's on the paper is on the paper. What was discussed is what was discussed. We don't need the pens flipping it while the show's going on.
There's some promoters out there that it's crazy.
Well, I mean, point blank, there are promoters out there that should not be anywhere near running events.
Right.
Then there's also promoters that will, and you know who the fuck you are because I'm talking to you.
Uh-oh. See what you did?
Asshole.
See what you did?
You know, they'll fill up, and I hope somebody tags your fat ass on it.
Oh.
You know, they fill up, they'll fill up your whole calendar with 13, 14, 15 dates. And they only had to run 4 fucking dates out of that whole calendar. Yeah. You know, and you take that promotion seriously, but they're gonna go and fill up your friggin' date. You know, and then they don't even run shows or they cancel them. Then you text them, they don't even give you the audacity to answer you. Or they'll text you a month later asking you if you're open for another date.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? It's like, bro, like come on, man. Like your show isn't the only one in town.
Right.
You know, and shame on you for disrespecting your talent like that. Because you're better than that, and I thought you were. So you know what? I'll never work for your fucking ass again. See? You know who the fuck you are.
There it is. See?
Take your fucking 26 years and stick them up your ass.
There you go.
I was your fucking champion for a long fucking time.
That's right.
I fucking deserve it. Treat me fucking better.
Take care of your people. Take care of listen. I'm sorry. Before we get into that, but I just want to wrap that up with.
Please do.
If you're somebody that's showing up, right? You're doing what you need to do. You get the mission over. You get the assignment over. You're performing. You're doing this. You're doing that. Good things are going to happen to you. You will be taken care of. I promise you. If you do the right thing over and over again, and you make it part of your cycle, you make it part of your lifestyle. You show up to the venue. You make sure you know the assignment. You achieve the assignment. You help propel the story that you're involved in. You go in there with your opponent or opponents and put them in a better position. You know what? I know people like to go right home after the show, but sometimes it's good to talk after the show. It's good to know what's going on. If people are still hanging out, have a drink or two and learn more about the place that you're at or help propel the place that you're at. It's all part of business. And I think a lot of people aren't treating this like a business anymore. They're treating it like it is a hobby, a thing that they do. They're treating it like, oh, well, let me go to this and then do it and then go home and get my envelope. And then if that's what you want to think of wrestling and if that's what you feel about it, then you have a particular place and you have to respect where that place is. Okay? That's where your place is, and you don't leave that place, right? If you are exploiting this, it's going to come out. It's going to come out in the locker room. It's going to come out in your work. It's going to come out in what you do. And a promoter,
and how your locker room behaves.
Thank you. And a promoter should be able to oversee this and watch their locker room and see when there's a contaminating factor, when there's someone that's not contributing. You don't reward that person, whether they have a 6 or 8 pack or whatever. You need to have disciplinary actions. You need to run it like a business. And that's what the problem is there's a lot of song and pony, a lot of dancing and juking and jiving, and not a lot of let's create something. Let's build something. Let's move things forward. It's not, you don't have to reinvent the wheel to drive, baby.
Well, a lot of talent shows up with these shows. And listen, if they're visitors, take the time to figure out what's going on your show, what's opening, what are the stories, what's your story for the night, what's your agenda, what am I doing? Am I just a one-off? Am I just here to elevate, your champ, or am I here to elevate your the guy waiting in the wings to be champ, your next guy, or am I here to am I just here to give you a main event? What's the deal? Like, you're on shows, man. You know how many super kicks I see? How many cannonballs I see? How many sentons I see? How many cutters I see? How many suicide dives I see?
Code breakers. I had to change
that. There should be a structure, man, and you should not be repeating moves. Yeah. And like I said, it all goes down to a promoter should control his locker. He should be able to run his locker room. Listen, I know it's good. Some people don't like this. Some people think it's carny. But I think it makes me feel comfortable when I show up at a show and a promoter has a pre-show meeting, or a promoter pulls me aside and speaks to me. But then again, the pulling aside, if he does that to every match, then you've just had 12 different meetings with 12 different matches, and neither one of those matches know what's going on in any of the matches. So you're gonna have things that are gonna be stepping. You're gonna have moves that are being stepped on. You're gonna have. I think so. Just have one meeting, man. Have one meeting. Be sincere. Be loud, and let your locker room know. You're working for me tonight. This is what I expect of you. If you have a problem with that, or if you have a problem with me telling you what to do, this is my circus. You are my clowns for the night.
Hello.
And if you have a problem with that, then
communicate with your talent. Make and just for the talent to be reciprocating, and to obviously keep that line of communication open. But promoters can do a much better job of opening up their line of communication to somebody that's on your show, about to be on your show.
The promoters, man, come on, man. And also have some couth, man. Seriously. If you're running, for 20-something years, man, and you're a well-known promoter on the indies, man, don't start fucking with a new company that's running a building that you haven't run in a year or whatever. Just don't do that, man. Don't go picking on that little new company that's coming up and is drawing strong numbers and selling out a building, man. Because that promoter or those couple of promoters, man, they're out there working, man. They're out there, rubbing their nickels and dimes together and making sacrifices out of their own pocket, man, for you to play fucking games and trying to sabotage any forward progress in any other promotion, man. Shame on you, man. You're better than that.
You should be collaboration.
Yep. So here's what I look at it, right?
If you don't like that I'm calling you out, then go fuck yourself.
So here's how I look at things, and this may ruffle some people, but it's legitimate. If you're a promoter running your own company, it amazes me when I see the shit that goes on social media. If it's your money and it's your business, why are we not treating it like an actual business? It's your money on the line. I see guys out there that are promoters that play high school jokes in their group chats with the talent. Here's the way I look at things, right? I've been in business outside of wrestling for over 25 years. I know how to run a business. So if I'm running my own company, there's going to be some fucking structure.
There has to be.
Number one, you're going to respect the fuck out of me because I'm the one putting my money on the line,
right,
hoping that there's a return on my investment.
Correct.
If I lose money on that show, I'm not going to be a fucking mark saying, I need to go find somebody with money so I can run show number 2. Mm-hmm. No, I'm going to be a business owner. I'm going to analyze the shit out of my business and say, why did this show not profit?
You know, what did I put money into?
And what do I need to change for show number 2 if I'm going to pour more money into it?
Yep.
Does it mean, do I need to book better talent?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to have more people to help me behind the scenes, helping me structure the event? Do I need to take a look at the card that I put together and say, hey, if I were to put this on a poster, is this going to draw any attention that people want to come to the show? No offense. How many promoters rely just on putting a poster on social media? If you're a business owner getting a legitimate retail business off the ground, what are you doing? You're going to other businesses promoting your business.
And yourself.
And yourself. You're going to go to all these places and say, hey, you know what? I'm new. I'm running this event here at this building. Can I hang a flyer up? And if you wouldn't mind if I could hang a flyer up, hey, let me give you a few tickets to my show. I'd love you to come check it out. Because you know why? If I give them that comp once, maybe they'll enjoy the show enough that they'll want to come back again and bring additional people with them, which means more tickets through the door, more fans in attendance, and the hope is that the word spreads. The problem is that we have too many people who are playing promoter in pro wrestling than actually having business people understand the art of business and wrestling and running it like a business. There has to be structure. Yep. Like you said before, you have a pre-show meeting. Match number 1, I want this, this, and this. Match number 2, I want this, this, and this. Nobody does this here except for the main event.
Yep. All in front of everybody.
That's a pre-show meeting, so everybody's on the same page. They
Just
know,
to be clear.
They know what is expected of them on that night. If they have ideas, welcome the collaboration of ideas, but they have to know that if their idea doesn't meet what you're looking for and you tell them no, they shouldn't take it negatively.
We can wipe it off. Yep.
They should take it as, hey, okay, maybe I need to come up with a better idea. Let me do what they're asking tonight. A legitimate promoter will know who their talents are and will have their best interests at heart, because if they don't, it all falls into that realm of why did my show succeed or why did my show fail? When you look at it, it's all about dollars and cents. We all know the phrase, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. And I'm so tired of seeing all these guys run indie shows with people that they don't do their research on, that they know they can just book because they know these guys will work for free or work for the bare minimum. Well, here's a very easy business piece for all promoters out there. You get what you pay for.
That's a fact.
Okay? You want free talent? They're going to stink up your fucking joint. You want legitimate promoters, and you want legitimate talent, you have to do the best you can to pay them. Now, you may be a brand new promoter and you may not be able to offer as much, but the hope is that if they'll take on that challenge and you grow your business, that they'll stick with you and then you take care of them because they took care of you, right? It's the other phrase, right? Both one hand washes the other, both hands wash the face, right? It's a business collaboration with everybody. And if you're an indie town out there that's just looking to fill your calendar, but you're going to go and work for somebody who has no business running an event, then you have no business bitching and moaning afterwards because you put yourself in that situation.
Yeah, and a lot of these fucking guys, man, they're going out there and they literally have fucking anxiety attacks if they miss a fucking show. If they're not booked on every fucking show.
Yeah, you don't understand.
Oh my God. Why isn't?
What?
Oh my God, I got to spend a weekend with my wife. Oh my God, it's terrible.
Why haven't he booked me yet? Oh my God. He hasn't called me yet. He hasn't booked me yet. Shut the fuck up.
Maybe you were
just when he does call, what are you gonna do? You're gonna put your tail between your fucking legs and you're gonna go right for him.
You're gonna go right back.
So shut up.
Yep. You're gonna go right back.
Zip it.
Yep.
I don't want to hear it.
Because trust me, we all hear it in the locker room all the time. They complain about promoter X, Y, and Z, but the moment they call,
they go right there.
And that's another thing.
I'm not saying that being a promoter is easy.
It's not.
There's a reason why not everyone's a promoter.
Right.
But there's also a reason why there's so many promoters out there. Okay? a lot of you bullshit clowns that call yourself promoters that run rinky-dink shows, you know, that are out here with guys hurting themselves, and you put untrained people on shows to work untrained.
Put them in battle royals.
People like
untrained,
you know,
people in battle royals.
What are we doing, man? Like,
It's
we're
just a
killing
battle
the
royal,
indies. Right? We're killing the indies, guys. Okay, now listen, I could never be a promoter because I don't have the patience for it. Because you wouldn't want to work for me if I was a fucking promoter.
Why?
Okay?
Because you're gonna have structure and you're gonna tell people what the fuck you want out of them.
I have
He's gonna tell them what it
structure.
is, and they're not gonna like it, and then he's gonna be fighting with everybody there because they're not gonna want to follow the rules, even though they're getting paid. That's the thing that's being forgotten is we're getting paid to do what we need to do. We're getting paid to play a role.
Right, and look at the other analogy, right? If you're a promoter and you say, hey, Shawn, I'd like you to be a part of my event. What more talents need to realize is that you are the boss for them. And you hired them to do a job. And if you do your job well, hey, you might get hired again. That's the goal. The problem we have, and the reason why there aren't as many good promoters out there, is because number one, a lot of promoters don't have the balls to actually be a boss and tell a talent no.
Right.
The problem is they're too busy trying to be everyone's friend. If my money's on the line, I might like you, Darius, but you're not my friend for the evening. You're my employee. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I am paying you to do a service. Mm-hmm. If you don't do that service for me the way that I want it, why would I want to hire you again? It's no different than in your everyday life at a job. If you're an employee at your job and you do great, you're going to get rewarded over time. Maybe a promotion. In the wrestling world, that might mean, hey, maybe I might trust you to hold one of my championships and represent my company. Maybe I might give you a bump in pay. Mm-hmm. But if you are not doing your service for me correctly, if you're not putting on the quality of a match that I expect from you, well, then maybe I won't hire you again for my next show. Right. AKA, if you're at your real job and you do the bare minimum, chances are, at a certain point, your boss is going to pull you into the office and they're going to cut you by the fucking throat and they're going to get somebody better that's going to do the job. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest problem we have in independent wrestling, is that we don't have enough legitimate promoters willing to run their promotion like a business and structure it top to bottom. And I mean have every base covered before they even step foot in that building to set up the ring.
Well, it's complacency as well.
It's
complacency as well because they're used to cutting, going even, or used to making a loss. So
they're okay with drawing the bare minimum, which if you care about your business, again, real life business, if I have an actual product, am I going to be okay if I own Jefferson's bourbon that only 100 people buy it? I'd be out of business in a minute. The goal is I want to promote this because I want Jefferson's brand bourbon everywhere across the United States, internationally. What do I have to do with that? Mm-hmm. Maybe I go and take a marketing course and learn how to market my promotion better. Maybe I take a business course and learn how to operate a business better and equate those two.
I hear people taking acting courses. I'm like, all right, well, maybe you should take a business course.
Take a business course. Why not?
I mean, let's.
I've been on shows where promoters have been at that gorilla, at that curtain, right next to the music guy, the whole show. Yep. They have their notes, they're writing down things as they go along. They're in, they're locked in, they're keyed, they're sitting there with their watch. They're sitting there. The press, I've seen it.
They're timing the matches.
Oh my goodness.
But then there's also, and they're making notes.
I give that to them.
Mm-hmm. And then they're also taking notes so they don't forget, so they remember. Okay, there's a lot of shit that happens during a show and you got to take notes. And there's other promoters that just don't pay their due diligence, man. There's other promoters where, they're outside drunk or high as hell or just don't even watch their own show.
Well, it's talking about, and you know what it is too? It's paying dues too. It's paying dues too.
And that's sad, when somebody's hurt. When you're having a show and somebody just got hurt and they have to go look for you outside in the car because you're getting smoked up or you have a half gallon of Bacardi, and you're
in a black
you're
bag.
giving it a deep throat. You know what I mean? Like,
Or just
that's
bottom
not
line, you're a
cool,
promoter,
man.
if a talent gets hurt on your show, you just don't even
And
care.
I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making.
We've all seen it. We've all seen promoters brush off a guy who's injured, who's at the hospital,
Yeah.
and as soon as the show's over, he's got his cash box and he's out the
He's
fucking
out.
door.
Yep, he's got it. Oop, shuts
You
it
know?
closed, locks it.
Doesn't even
Yeah.
bother to care to go check on the talent and all those type of things. And that's, you have to be a business owner, but you also have to be a human with morals and respect in an industry. And I'm going to say this point, but I'm going to hurt a lot of people in an industry that is predicated on utilizing the lowest form of fruit.
Yes.
That's what our business
Low-hanging fruit.
are on for a very
Extraordinaire.
long time, which means when you get those good promoters and those great promotions that are willing to take a chance on you, please hold them in high regard, because these promotions do not pop up on a consistent basis. We've all seen it. We've all seen the bullshit shows that get run that draw 30 fans, and you wonder why they never run again. And then you see the shows that consistently draw great crowds, that continue to get better. You see the improvements visually in the show. Just because you can buy a ring from High Spots, rent a VFW hall, put a garbage bag on a door and call it your entrance curtain, does not mean you're a fucking promoter. I don't care if you think you're a broadcast journalist with a podcast that has 20 people that listen to you, you're not a fucking promoter. If you don't understand the business, and I'm not saying you have to be a performer in the industry to be a promoter, it helps. It greatly helps.
It helps to
But
have
there
eggs
are
in multiple baskets.
those few eggs that have been able to transition into the wrestling world and run successful events. It's not everybody. And if you think that's that easy to do, imagine when you're putting your money on the line and you say to yourself, okay, I have now spent $500 to rent the building. I spent another $600 to rent the ring. I'm already at $1,100. Now I've got to hire a sound guy, a music guy. And here's the one thing that very few promoters ever do: purchase insurance for your event.
Hello.
Before you even enter the building, before any talent or fan enters the building, you're probably well into almost $2,500, $3,000 at minimum just for those items, not on top of your budget. And if you're a smart promoter, now you have to map out how many seats you're going to have at your event. That's going to be able to tell you, if I can put an ass every 6 inches and fill this building, here's my guaranteed gate.
And I'm selling a ticket $15 to $25.
Because that's how you're going to figure out how you are going to at least break even and then profit.
Yep.
And then what are all the other intangibles that go with it? Can you sell concessions at the building? Can you get sponsors from local food businesses that might want to purchase a table and sell their product?
Did you hear that? Are we hearing this?
Right.
Because this is stuff. The local businesses and the postering or the lack thereof is something I cannot believe. It's to the point where when I was young, coming up in the business, 2008, to the end of 2008, 2009, postering was mandatory. It was not even discussed. It was just being done. I mean, you're going.
It was fun.
It was
Yeah,
fun.
It was
And that's
fun.
how you learn. That's how you learn. If I'm going into the Chinese, the wok, and I'm putting the poster up, I'm having a conversation with whether it's the cashier or the owner or somebody, probably the owner, because I'm putting my poster in your space. So I'm probably talking to somebody who is in a managerial position. Hey, what's going on? Oh, it's a wrestling event. Oh, it's a wrestling event? Yeah, you're about
But here you have young talents, 2-3 years in a business. Oh, I'm booked for a show. That's all I have to do. And then the promoter asks you to at least share the flyer on social media. You never do it. They ask you to cut a promo. You never do it. If they don't ask you, you don't even take the initiative to do it. And this is where I don't understand. And this is where I can't. I'm very reserved when I hear young talents tell me today that pro wrestling is their dream, it's their passion. You can tell me that all you want. Words mean nothing to me. Actions are louder than words. This man, almost 30 years in the industry, you going on 15, 16, whatever it is. I may be
You hit it.
over 20. even just a few years ago, how many times were you and I in a car with a few people driving to Brooklyn on a Thursday night, flyering? Almost 30 years, this man does not have to lift a finger, but he still does because he has passion. He has respect for the company.
That is a family at home.
He has a family at home, right? What example is he setting for his family, right? Go out and earn things.
I'm saying, but I'm not saying, well, I gotta go spend time with the family. I gotta go spend time with my wife, or I gotta go spend time, I gotta go mow the lawn. No, dude, like, yo, the flyers need to be handed out. You know what, dude? Maybe because I went, maybe 3 or 4 other guys said, you know what? That motivated me. You know what? He's doing it, I'll go do it.
I can hit 3 spots on
and it's actually fun, man. You laugh, you with your friends, you go, you eat, you get a couple pies of pizza, you know, while you're doing it, you sit around and you
talk the business.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And you never know. Just like you're on the road, things can go wrong. Things will happen with flyering too, and then you can laugh about it years later.
We're saying these things before I forget. Like I was gonna say before.
That's paying you dues.
We're saying these things, man, because we've done them, because we've seen them. We're not blowing any smoke up anybody's ass, and we're not lying. Like these are the things that we've seen. You know, if you're like, dude, some promoters, man. Like, you know, they're good guys to work for, man. You know your locker room, you know your settings, you know, do pay your due diligence. Mm-hmm. There's other freaking promoters, you know, listen, they have standards.
And you have a good one.
You know that if you're a referee, if you're a referee and you're going to go work for this promoter, you have to look a certain way. You know, if you're a ring announcer, you show up with your jacket, you show up with your polo button down with your company logo on it, or you show up with your suit jacket and no matter if it's 177 degrees outside, you still have your jacket on, you still have your black shoes on, you still have your tie on, whatever it is, you look professional. There's 2 things that need to look professional on a show. That is the referee and that is the ring announcer. 1,000%. That is the creme de la creme and the class of your show, because before those talents come out, before the music hits, that announcer is your master of ceremonies for the evening, and the man in the middle, he's the law, man. He's got to stand out. He's got to look different.
No more blue jeans referees.
No more. And that's referee that I see with black pants on and white socks. I'm gonna get you.
But you know what? You know who the third best dressed person should be at that show next to the ring announcer and the referee?
The promoter.
The promoter.
Talk about it.
Because if I am a fan, I might be interested in investing money in your business. Oh, here's the owner or the promoter. Oh, he's there. The guy wearing the New Balance sneakers with the knee-high socks and the tight jorts and the T-shirt with the ketchup stain in it from the hot dog.
That he just ate. He ate his own concessions.
Like if I'm a business owner, I want to invest. I'm gonna turn right around and get my ass out of there because this is what happens too. Promoters aren't looking at these little details. Just when we talk about being a performer, it's about the little things. It's the same thing on an event, right? We've all been part of events where we walk into the venue and you're like, oh man, I can't wait. This will be a great event. And then you walk in. The chairs are all disheveled. The ring aprons are slumped over. The ring looks like it's going to fall apart when somebody even just steps on it. The entrance curtain is crooked. Like, these are all, if you're a business owner, again, it's nothing different than owning a retail storefront. Customer walks in, they should be wowed.
Right.
When a fan walks into the building, they should be wowed.
Looking around.
A safe.
Like Maff at the start of this interview.
Yeah. It's a brand. It's a ring that looks beautiful. It looks safe. Yep. Chairs that are neat, that are spread out, each chair correctly, individually spaced out so fans aren't clumped together.
There's not garbage all over the floor.
A nice
by the foot wrappers.
A nice entrance.
There's no footprints all over your apron.
Yep.
Sweep your apron.
Sweep your ring.
Have somebody after every match or every 2 matches. Have them go down and towel those ropes down.
Clean the apron.
As a student,
clean the apron.
My first 6 months, my role was to be the towel guy.
Right.
I would go in the ring after every single match and I would wipe down all the ropes. That was my job because I was taught respect for the ring, respect for the business itself. Entrance curtains, hey, it's not a big deal if you can't afford to have a curtain with your logo on it yet. Have a nice plain,
black
logo.
curtain.
Entrance truss, just basics. If you're going to be a promoter and a business owner, anybody who opens up their own business is going to have to foot the money out front to get what they need. And then they're going to, here's a big one. How many indie promoters actually build a P&L for their business?
Please.
I don't even know if some promoters even know what a P&L is. And if you don't know, it's called a profit and loss statement. That's what you should have.
Please.
Because if you do that, you will know what your expenses are, so you know how to structure your business, how many fans you need in the door, which then tells you how many times do I need to go out and promote this event? Do I need to spend money buying an ad on social media? Do I need to go pound the pavement a little bit more?
With some of these promoters, that's not even their goal.
I lost $1,000.
Some of
my
these
friends.
But these are the reasons why these promoters need to be outed of the fucking business, because they are ruining it for the legitimate promoters. And I
are out there, because there are legitimate independent wrestling promoters
that are
out there and doing the right thing.
Right.
That are taking care of their guys, that are promoting shows that you do want to come back every month.
Yeah,
you
100%.
do want to come back every couple months. This isn't just us lambasting promoters.
No.
What we're saying is, guys, is there's a standard. Just as there's a standard to wrestling and to the wrestler itself, there is a standard of promoters that is either not being talked about or we're glossing over it because, well, we all want to get paid. So I'm not going to call out promoters because I want to get paid. But guess what? If you're a good enough talent, you're getting paid somewhere.
And if you're a good enough talent, the good promoters will find you.
Thank you.
And you don't have to worry about those.
Thank you.
Because that's what our goal should be. And what I'm saying here is not to shit on any one specific promoter. What I'm saying is I'm literally giving you the answers to the test on how to be a better promoter, how to be a professional promoter running your business like a business. If you're just trying to be my friend, and I don't mean this by me, any talent that's out there that wants to get paid, that has a promoter that's just trying to brother you, well, guess what? You're going to get work to the core, because that talent is going to take you for every fucking dime you have because they know they can. If you're a respected promoter, a talent won't do that to you because they see value in your company. They don't just look at you as an easy payday.
This guy's looked out for me. This promoter has, main events, and, he does get, catering whenever he can, when he has the opportunity. Always has water in the bag, is always looking out for us during the show, after the show, has EMTs, has medical. That's a guy I want to do right by. I'm not going to cross that promoter. I'm going to take care of that guy. It's all a relationship of trust.
And you know how many times we have promoters that just skimp on all those little things?
Yeah.
When you skimp on those little things, eventually those little things are going to come back to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, because then the promoters are like, well, why aren't you coming back to me? Well, what have you given me for me to come back to you?
1,000%.
Why should I choose your show this Saturday? First off, you're asking me to do that date when I already advertised another date. For that I already advertised another show for that exact date. So you want me to double shot whatever it is? What are you giving to me? What are you doing for me? Because I know what I'm going to do for you. The moment we shake hands and say, hey, Darius Carter, I'm booking you, boom, I'm hitting the pavements.
That's it.
Social media, boom, I'm hitting the pavements, promoting the angle, the story, whatever it is. So what are you doing for me? What are you doing to contribute to my brand? Right? It's a relationship.
You know what I would like to see from a promoter?
That's straight up. That's just being honest. It's a business. We got to shake hands. Promoters trying to sell you the gimmick. I'll get you on TV. You're going to get me on TV with the others have it? And what is your TV? I'm telling you, this is what I'm talking about. I know, because I know, boss. I see that. I see it. So I'm going to contribute to it. Because make sense. You're a TV taping, you're a TV booking. I need to know where. At this point, I'm asking, all right, is it YouTube TV? Is it you get what I'm saying? Because that's what it typically is.
Or is the old promoter of the VHS tape that's going to sit in his closet for the next 10 years that he's going to play on his own fucking TV? That's the TV tape.
Right. How is the TV when I haven't seen my abstract? I can't get footage of my match.
Some fucking
You recorded it for TV.
Oh, I'm sorry.
promoters tell you,
Yeah.
we're not indie. We're a non-televised wrestling company.
Let's stop. Let's stop.
Okay, and maybe this may be my opinion to ruffle feathers.
And then you have like 20 or 30 of the best matches of your career, and you can't even get them because you fucking hold them. You have them under lock and key because you want people to pay for them over and over and over again. Hello, ding ding, yo, I'm your talent.
Right, give me that.
Give me the fucking code to the fucking matches, bro,
That's
so I
the
can
thing,
fucking
right?
watch them, see them, or use them.
Right.
If you're a
Fucking sit there
promoter,
and try to charge me fucking $19.99 for your fucking subscription. What the fuck is wrong with you?
that's what I mean. Like, so for example, it's a great point too. Like, again, a smart business promoter, wouldn't you want your talent to promote the matches and the event that they performed on for you, and instead they hoard the footage and never give it to you, or they're going to put it on a streaming service. And you know, if you make a deal with a streaming service, you're going to get some sort of a code, or even if you got to pay for one subscription for you, give it to your talent so they can download the matches, they can make clips, highlights. They're promoting themselves along with you. Tell me how that doesn't make sense, that you would literally make your talent pay out of their own pocket to get the footage of their bodies on the line to make you money.
Dude, I was a champion at a company for 3 years. Okay,
You had 2 matches on film?
had banger after banger after banger after banger.
Come on.
Okay, took pride in that shit, and I can't even. If you look on a YouTube, I can't. You'll probably find maybe 2 of those matches on YouTube.
And that's the
They never happened. Nobody fucking even has ever heard of them.
So to me, that's not a professional promoter.
No.
That's somebody to me that plays promoter, because that all goes into that P&L realm of exposure.
And pick on me if you want for fucking saying it. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
Because you know what? All the boys say it.
Yep.
I'm the one with the cojones, with the bola grande to say it. I'm the one who's got the balls enough to say it.
It should not be a war. It should not be a war of promoter versus wrestler.
But that's sometimes what happens.
That's sometimes what's going on, and then it affects the show. We are all working to a commonality. We are all working towards the same goal.
And if it becomes a war of promoter versus talent, if I'm a talent, why the fuck do I want to be at war with you? I'm going to go find somewhere else. I got enough stresses in my life. I got to fight with you to get footage of a match that I put my physical well-being on the line for you, and you can't give me a simple fucking fight TV code?
Especially,
Come on.
especially
Sometimes
if you're not doing it yourself.
Some guys have even said, "Yo, I'll set up my own pod and I'll record my own match."
Right.
And the promoter says, "Oh, yeah, but don't put it on, don't put it on social media."
So then are you
Fuck
doing it?
you, because
So are you doing
did
it?
I sign a contract with you? No. Am I gonna get a guarantee that footage will be in my hands within 7 days of that event?
Right.
Because if it's not, then my fan cam footage or my hard cam footage is going up on my own fucking YouTube, my own channel.
Where is
Plain
it
and
all
simple.
going? Where is it all going?
Right.
Where is the angle going? Where are the matches
Right.
going? If we are building something, where
But
is it
that
going?
all comes down to playing promoter versus being a promoter. Because if you're a professional promoter, you have that shit already in the bag, ready to
You already
go
got-
for your talents, right?
A place like ECWA, I can talk to a guy like a Ryan Kavanaugh, or I can talk to boom. Everything it's a conversation. It's business.
Right.
It's boom, boom, boom. You're never in the dust. You're never wondering. You're never looking up at the. I mean, it's unbelievable.
The other
business.
The other thing about being a business too is, as a promoter, as a business owner, you have to be approachable to your talent.
Oh, my goodness.
Your talent should never walk on eggshells. And I have this idea, but I'm not sure if I should ask him.
He's been locked in his room. He's been locked in his
I'm
room.
gonna
for
be
an
yelled
hour.
at, right? Be that welcoming promoter and that personality that has that camaraderie with your talent, that they can come to you with an idea, a concern, something along the lines that may actually help your show, or they may be able to come to you with something that they're noticing that you don't,
Yep.
that might be a hindrance to your show,
Yep.
and they're actually trying to look out for you. But what happens with these play promoters, they take it personally. Oh, you trying to tell me how to run my business? Well, come on,
Yeah.
man.
But
It's happened. It's happened.
We're not gonna just sit here and like bury,
It's not.
No, it's not, because
There's
there
also
are
promoters
there
that
are.
do it right. And
Yes.
there's also promoters that I even at times, dude, I have sympathized with, because there's promoters that, hey, out of the goodness of their heart, they go and they call their talent, 3 months in advance. Hey, man, guess what? I got this great idea. This is what we're going to do, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that idea that you were just sold on, you were just so happy about because you're a promoter and you really thought it through, and it's like, this is good, this is going to click.
Mm-hmm.
Now your talent goes and your talent fights you tooth and nail every day for those 3 months for you to change it. And it totally knocks out whatever expectations or whatever excitement you had. Like, I understand too that wearing the promoter hat, that's stressful too.
Yes.
I understand why some promoters won't give you any details until you're at the building. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But they know.
Some talent is just fucking delusional, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I've seen some fucking people, bro, where they just do not take direction, bro.
I'm not shit.
You're fucking telling them, yeah, but boom, this tonight it's about this guy right here. All you guys don't mind, it's about this guy. So, and then they go into this big elaborate fucking way to eliminate themselves, dude, that it made no fucking sense. And then they fucking start, the promoter doesn't like me, or he's not letting me grow. Shut up, man.
Every opportunity, no. Let's talk about it. Every opportunity, especially on the independents,
call you assholes.
Especially on the independents.
Fucking assholes. Before we wrap this shit up.
Especially on the independents, people are so afraid to play their role.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
But some guys don't know how to play their role,
Darius. No, because and they're also afraid to. Of course they don't know how to, and then they're afraid to if they do know how to. Here's the thing, because if you're in a 6-man match, if you put me in a 6-person, a 5-way match, I already know what you want me to do. I understand what my role is. I'm looking at the other talent. I said, okay, this is what they want me to do. Boom, boom, boom. Promoters like, I didn't even have to tell you anything, right? Because you should have your own, let's educate people, right? A storyboard, that's what we call it. Whether the promoter is coming up with your storyboard or you are coming up with your storyboard. What is your storyboard? Your page to page, your comic. What am I doing? What can I do next? How can I build towards something else? How can I contribute? And if I'm one of 6 and I see the other 5 and I see that I'm different from the other 5, how can I contribute to this?
Mm-hmm.
And look, it's about this guy. I need this one guy to shine here. He's been coming here for a couple years. He's been grinding behind the scenes. He's been putting in the work in the ring. I need you to elevate him a little bit because he's good. He's not but he's going to get great. He's going to be great in a year. And I need you to be in the ring with him right now to help propel him. Understand that is a compliment. Understand that winning and losing or being over is so irrelevant to the fact that you're being trusted to take that person and elevate them. You're being trusted to put that person in a better position, okay? And if you are somebody who's getting booked often and you can't take that type of booking and you can't realize what it is and you can't say, wow, let me elevate, let me contribute to this person and see how that is. If you're wrestling every weekend and you can't take the time to have that type of booking, you are not a professional wrestler.
Correct. And
you are not somebody who is contributing to the greater good of this. Because I've seen you do it. I've especially seen you do it where we are put in a certain situation and you can tell exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. Oh, a 4-way? Okay. And this is my first time there? Okay. All right. Hey, it's about this game. Okay, great.
So what do we need to do to make sure that we get the promoter's vision
across,
right?
And how do I do my role in getting them there, which is going to get me to come back?
Right, and that's the goal, right? At the end of any, and I see this more often than not. To be a promoter of a independent wrestling company, a boxing company, whatever you want to call it, it is a full-time job. It can't be part-time. Yes, you may have a full-time career, but guess what? If you want to be a promoter too, that means you have 2 full-time jobs.
Yes, it is.
And you have to find that balance to make it work. Because if you can't, you have to find the balance to make it work.
It is 2 Full-time jobs.
Because
a promoter cannot be relegated to anything less than a full-time job.
Because if you focus too much on your independent wrestling company and you don't focus on your everyday job, that job will suffer, which could potentially leave you with only one job. And it's vice versa.
Yeah.
If you don't focus on that independent wrestling company of yours, it's going to fall by the wayside. There are great promoters that are out there. This is not meant to necessarily shit on everybody, but it's a common theme we see across the board. But we do have, each of us individually, we all have those great promoters that we hold on to and we show them that respect because those are the ones that are putting in this work on a full-time basis. They are the ones that are trying to make their product the best possible. They're also, if you notice, the best promoters are not the ones that are ripping flyers down because they have confidence in their own company and in their own business that they're going to do good business. They don't have to resort to those type of tactics because they're focused on their own business, not what's going on around them. It's just like any other business. If you're an indie promoter and you focus on all the other indie companies and not your own, your company's not going to last. Mm-hmm. Let those other companies do their own thing. There can be a piece of the pie for everybody as long as, like Maff said earlier in the beginning, right? Respect each other's business and area. And if you imagine what would happen if you worked together, right?
Both. This promoter should say, yo, I'm not going to step on your toes. Right. I'm not going to run your talent. I'm not going to run your angles. I'm not going to stagnate your ankles. If Darius is feuding with Shawn Donavan, I'm not going to have Darius team with Shawn Donavan
down the road
a week before,
10 miles away.
10 minutes away. Come on, man. I would love to see, promoters get that shit right, man. And I would like to see, I would back a fuck around and find out promoter.
Yeah.
Real quick. Like, hey, man, I fucking did. Listen, you have 6 minutes in and out. Okay? He's going over. It's elimination. Test me.
Yeah.
Test me. And you will never fucking be back here. Try to go over on fucking time. Extend my time and take time for my main event. I'm ringing the fucking bell or I'm grabbing a chair and I'm going out there myself.
Hey, sometimes you got to do business the right way.
You know what I mean? And you will not be back. That's the problem. A lot of these guys,
they say they'll never bring you back and they still bring you back. That's you not having morals or respect for yourself as a business owner. Stick to your own word because what that does is it sends a message to everybody else that, hey, you fuck with this guy, you ain't going to be back. Instead of saying, I screwed up. You give it a couple months. He'll invite me back.
You know how soul consuming
I spit on a fan, no problem. I bring it right back.
You know how soul consuming it is, how life sucking it is. This is my escape, bro. I got a regular job, bro. I'm not a fucking wrestler by trade. Wrestling ain't my fucking paycheck. I got a fucking regular job, okay? I wrestle, I have fun. This is my escape, man. It's my breath of fresh air. It's my life away from real life, okay? I'll get to go enjoy myself and see my friends. You know how fucking life-sucking it is when I gotta spend my fucking fun time consoling your fucking self-entitled, egotistical, whining, bitching ass, and I'm fucking telling you, bro, this. I'm trying to sell it to you 3 or 4 different ways, and you don't want to hear me, bro. I call guys like you and girls like you assholes.
No.
Okay? And don't sit there and think you did this and you did that when you take one thing that one person told you and you decide to run to the moon with that because that one person said, it was all right, it was well. Because maybe that person doesn't want to hurt your feelings, bro, because they don't feel like getting fried on Twitter the next day. Okay? And I'm talking real talk. Okay? Listen, this is why I ain't got a lot of friends in this business, because I speak from the fucking chest.
You tell like it is.
Okay? Yeah. I speak from the fucking chest and I walk alone. And that's how it is. You know what I mean? But don't sit there. You know what I mean?
Follows it.
Don't sit there and bro, like if I'm trying to give you advice or I'm trying to consult you, I'm trying to explain to you, hey man, this is why this happened. You know, it's okay. It's okay to have a bad match, or it's okay for this to happen. And maybe tonight wasn't your night, man. You weren't featured tonight. Okay, well, you know what? I have to take the pen. Shut the fuck up.
Did anyone react when you made your entrance?
Man,
Did anyone react?
Why do I gotta? What dude is so friggin' soul snatching, man? Like, yo, you're just sucking the life out of me. Yeah. Like, yo,
and out of business.
Let me tell you, then again, there's these
people
there's other kids, man, that they'll come to you and they'll look for guidance and they'll look for advice, and you talk to them, man, and the light bulb goes off on you. And you're making a connection, you know, like the Anthony Bowens.
Yeah, that's
right. Like MJF when he was coming up. Yeah. You know, guys like that, bro. Guys like that, you could actually tell them something and you see it registering. You're like,
gee, and where are those guys now? Hey, the proof is in the pudding at the end of the day.
Hey, listen, if you can listen.
I'm sorry for one.
No, please go for it. Because the bottom line is, people in this industry, you need to have thick skin. Yeah. You need to be able to you need to be able to be told your match was shit.
Yep.
I'm sorry, sometimes you have to be blunt.
And why was it? And why I'm begging you wrestlers, man, have some thick skin, please.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
This is a tough business, man.
And if a situation
just because we tell you it sucked, doesn't mean like that we think any less of you.
Doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Doesn't mean I don't like. Didn't click. Hey, listen, that was the wrong match. Mm-hmm. You guys were supposed to hate each other, and you started with a grapple. It was a lockup. Wrong match. Doesn't mean it was particularly a bad match. It was the wrong match. What does that mean? Well, let's sit and talk about it. But make sure you don't make that mistake again. It's an educational experience.
And speaking of education, because I know we got to wrap this up, because I do want to do a part two.
There's got to be a part two.
Oh, no, there's a part two. There's to be part two. But the last thing I will say, right, we talk about how performers need to take constructive feedback, right? Here's another thing that promoters should do. If you're a young promoter or a new promoter, seek out the successful promoters, reach out to them and say, hey, if you're free on this night and you're not running, I'd love to have you at my event. I'd love for you to watch everything. And would you sit down with me afterwards and explain to me what you thought I did wrong, what you thought I did right. And out of all of that, what can I do better? Learn from those people. Don't be like some of these indie wrestlers who think they're already great when they're not.
Right.
Don't think because you ran one or two shows, you're the greatest promoter. That's unfortunately a lot of guys. They think they're the greatest promoter that has ever entered the world of pro wrestling. And to me, that's bullshit. Because I've asked for feedback. I've asked a few people, hey, come to these events. I'd love for you to tell me what you think. They haven't been able to make it yet, but the invitation has been there, and it will continue to be there.
But some promoters won't tell you what's behind the curtain. You know, they won't. It's like a magician, right?
Yeah.
They're successful for 30, 40 years.
Right.
They've been running great shows.
Right.
They're not going to tell this young promoter who's coming up.
It's like the old carny guys we grew up with, right? They would give you just enough to get by because they felt that if they gave you everything in their toolbox, you would take their spot.
Yep.
We have to recognize if we all work together, we can all have a piece of the pie. You can't tell me that promotion A over here can't work with promotion B over here when you have places like WWE working with a TNA, working with a Noah, working with collaboration. So you're telling me that billion-dollar companies can collaborate, but little small Johnny over here can't collaborate with little Freddie over here because it's going to hurt his bottom line? I bet you if you actually work together and put your creativity together, you actually can make money.
Do your research, guys. Look what killed the NWA, right? NWA, right? Who I loved NWA, AWA, Bockwinkel, all right? But what killed them was themselves.
You know what's going to kill the NWA is when I become a motherfucking NWA heavyweight fucking champion.
Fight Factory.
July fucking 15th.
That's what I'm doing. Get that done.
Billy Corrigan, I'm talking to you. Billy Corrigan. Corrigan! look at what your fucking champion looks like because it's me right here. This is what your next NWA champion looks like. And then I'll be in that. I digress.
It's great though, but I digress, right? We're talking about an NWA and what had killed an NWA. It was the fact that all these different promoters couldn't come together, couldn't agree, egos getting in the way. They ate themselves up. This wasn't events of McMahon Senior or Junior coming in and destroying NWA. You ate yourselves up from the inside. Mm-hmm. And this is what people are doing now is they see someone running 10 miles down, 15 miles down.
They try to eat them alive.
You try to eat them alive in a market where there's so much wrestling where if they're drawing and you're drawing, they're drawing 150, you're drawing 150.
Maybe collaborate. Say, hey, if I run on these dates,
maybe we don't run the same Saturday.
And you run on these dates, let's respect each other. Let's all get a piece of the pie.
Maybe we do a collaborative show once every couple months on a Sunday.
Team this versus team that. We create a little story. Now the fans have an opportunity to see their best in one show.
Right.
But they also get to choose where they want to spend their money. Maybe this month they go to Joey's show and this month they go to Freddie's show or vice versa.
And this could happen once every 6 months.
Right.
This can be recycled. This doesn't have to be a month-to-month thing, but collaborative efforts is what lets the fans know what wrestling is going on. Mm-hmm. All right? It's like when you do a WrestleMania weekend. Or a WrestleMania week. All right? You want to make sure that everyone knows where to go at what times.
There's no reason why every company shouldn't have like their hats in one big show or have one big show.
There's no reason why
it can't happen because promoters I'm not losing. This guy's not putting that guy over. I'm going to look like shit.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm only going to win 2 matches. I added a 4 I'm representing. How come he's winning 3 matches?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And this is during WrestleMania week, or this is during Royal Rumble week. This is when the spotlights are the brightest. This is when commerce is at its highest in professional wrestling. And you're sitting here worrying about the wrong things. Mm-hmm. You're not sitting here worrying about how we're going to build something. How am I going to take this angle that I'm bringing to Las Vegas and bring it back home? How am I going to take this angle from Indiana and take it back home? So when I'm going out and doing these shows, I'm thinking to myself, well, how do I get this crowd for this day? And then how do I get them to follow me to the next date that we're clearly promoting at this show?
It's going to take that one promoter with a vision. It's going to take that new promoter that's not a carny. It's going to take that one promoter.
He said that's not a carny.
Okay, it's going to take that one promoter.
Because Carney's trying to come back.
That has nothing.
Carney like the old Carney. This pseudo Carney era. There's some guys now that are
the Fugazi Carney.
The Fugazi Carney. You're coming back and you're talking. He's old. This is this and it's like this is this. But you're not understanding that a real professional understands what their art is. I understand what I need to paint. I understand what I'm here to do. When I'm booked for a show and I'm booked in a particular area, I should have a common understanding of what it is that is expected of me. Correct. Point blank, period.
That's it.
Man.
And with that, we got to wrap it up. We're way over time. We got to come back. Episode 13, we're going to come back with part 2. We're going to finish right where we left off on this because there's a lot more to this rabbit hole.
I don't remember what I was going to say. I forgot it already.
You will. Trust me.
It's like
it's like you and I working together. All I got to do is call one word out of that spot and you remember exactly what it is.
I need an edible.
He needs an edible.
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. There you have a demo family.
And with that being said, we thank you for joining us on episode 12. We will be back with episode 13, part 2, talking about
that number, bro.
No, that's lucky number 13. We're going to come back with episode number 2 of the promoter's aspect.
Cheers.
I am Shawn Donavan. That is Danny Maff. And that is my father, Darius Carter. And we are
the ugly cup.
That's crazy. Jefferson's, and that's Jefferson's.